Hello everyone, I hope you're doing well. In today's video, we're diving into a dark chapter of our past, the plague. Stay with me as we look at how this mysterious disease changed the world forever and how humanity eventually survived it. Death didn't arrive as war or famine. It arrived as a cough, and within weeks, entire cities were silent. The plague, when death ruled the world. A world history story by the perfect professor. Part 1. The world before the scream. Death did not arrive with an announcement. It arrived quietly. A fever, a cough, a swelling under the skin, and then silence. A world without warning. In the 14th century, people did not know what bacteria were. They did not know about viruses. They did not know about contagion. They only knew one thing. People were dying faster than they could be buried. The first signs. At first, it felt distant. A port city, a merchant ship, a rumor. Then the rumors walked inland. Villages went quiet. Church bells rang endlessly.
Graves multiplied.
The world was not ending loudly. It was emptying. Why this death felt different. Humanity had seen war. It had seen famine. But this was different. There was no enemy to fight. No army to resist. No pattern to understand. Healthy people died in days. Children died before sunset. Families vanished in weeks. Death had become random. Fear without explanation. Doctors failed. Prayers failed. Kings failed. Nothing stopped it. People fled cities, only to carry death with them. The plague did not chase humanity. Humanity spread it. Bodies without meaning. Death lost its ritual.
No funerals.
No last words. No time to grieve. Bodies were stacked. Pits were filled. When death becomes common, meaning collapses. Why this was the real horror. The plague did not just kill bodies. It killed certainty. Parents feared children. Neighbors feared neighbors. Touch became dangerous. The most human instinct, connection, became lethal. A question with no answer.
People asked,
why us? Some blamed God. Some blamed sin. Some blamed outsiders. But blame did not slow death. It only divided the living. Professor's reflection. When death stops making sense. The plague terrified humanity not because it killed millions, but because it destroyed explanation. When the world stops making sense, fear becomes absolute. Part 2. Panic, blame, and the collapse of order. When death has no explanation, fear looks for someone to accuse. And during the plague, fear became law. When reason collapsed, people tried to understand the plague. They failed. There were no microscopes, no germ theory, no medicine that worked. So logic collapsed, and emotion took control. What could not be explained had to be blamed. Scapegoats were easier than answers. Foreigners were accused. Minorities were accused. The poor were accused. The strange were accused. Communities turned inward. Trust vanished. When survival feels random, cruelty feels justified. Doctors became symbols of helplessness. Physicians tried everything. Bloodletting, herbs, incantations, masks filled with perfume. Nothing worked. Some doctors fled. Some stayed and died. Medicine lost authority. If experts could not help, why obey anyone? Religion split instead of united. Some turned to prayer obsessively. Others abandoned faith completely. Processions marched through cities, often spreading the plague further. Faith did not disappear. It fractured. Hope became desperate. Law without enforcement. Courts stopped functioning. Taxes stopped being collected. Punishment stopped mattering. When tomorrow is uncertain, rules feel optional. Order did not fall suddenly. It evaporated. Cities became traps. Dense cities turned lethal. Narrow streets, shared wells, crowded homes. People fled, carrying death with them. The plague moved faster than any army. Families turned into quarantine zones. Parents feared children. Children feared parents. Touch became a gamble. Love became dangerous. The most intimate bonds became the most terrifying. Why violence increased? Fear removes restraint. Looting increased. Assault increased. Abandonment increased. Morality shrinks when survival feels temporary. The plague tested not just bodies, but ethics. A society that could not protect itself. Governments issued orders, but enforcement required people, and people were dying. Authority without manpower is symbolism. The plague revealed how thin civilization really was. Professor's reflection: panic is contagious too. The plague spread biologically. Fear spread socially. And fear often caused more damage than the disease itself. When explanation dies, society follows. Part 3. Living in a world where death never left. After the first wave of terror passed, something worse arrived. Routine death. When death became normal. At first, every death shocked. Then they blurred together. Morning meant bodies. Evening meant more. People stopped counting. When loss is constant, the mind protects itself by going numb. Cities of silence. Entire neighborhoods emptied. Houses stood open. Meals remained untouched. Animals wandered freely. The living avoided sound. Silence meant safety. Noise meant people, and people meant death. Mass graves and broken rituals. Funerals vanished. There was no time, no space, no strength. Bodies were placed into pits by strangers. Names were not recorded. Lives were not remembered. Death lost dignity. Work without hope. Those who survived still had to eat. Fields were harvested by fewer hands. Work continued in fear. Every task carried a question. Will I still be alive tomorrow? The future stopped being imagined. It was endured. Children in a world without adults. Many children survived their parents. They grew up quickly, or not at all. Orphans filled streets.
Some were taken in.
Many were abandoned. Childhood disappeared. Survival replaced innocence. Love under quarantine. Relationships changed. Marriage slowed. Intimacy declined. Touch became dangerous. To love someone meant risking death. Isolation became a form of care. Time lost meaning. Days blurred together. Without plans, calendars stopped matching. People lived moment to moment. The mind shrinks when the future collapses. Hope requires time. The plague stole it. Why despair did not end humanity? And yet, people endured. Not bravely. Not heroically. They endured because the alternative was surrender. Survival was not inspiring. It was automatic. The strange calm after fear. After months of death, panic exhausted itself. Fear burned out. What remained was a quiet acceptance. This acceptance was not peace. It was fatigue. Professor's reflection: when the mind goes quiet to survive. The plague taught humanity something dark. The human mind can adapt to almost anything, even endless death, not by understanding it, but by dulling its edge. Part 4. How the plague reshaped civilization. When the plague finally loosened its grip, the world that remained was unfamiliar. Not because buildings had changed, but because power had shifted. Too few people, too much land. The plague killed millions. Those who survived found something unexpected. Empty space. Fields lay unused. Workshops lacked workers. Cities needed hands that no longer existed. For the first time in centuries, labor became valuable. Survivors gained bargaining power. Before the plague, workers were replaceable. After the plague, they were scarce. Survivors demanded higher wages, better conditions, freedom to move. Landowners resisted. They failed. The old balance broke. The cracks in feudal power. Feudalism relied on abundance of labor. The plague destroyed that abundance. Peasants fled oppressive estates. Lords competed for workers. Power trickled downward, not by ideology, but by necessity. This was not revolution. It was demographic pressure. Authority lost its illusion.
Kings had failed to stop death.
Churches had failed to explain it. Doctors had failed to cure it. Institutions survived, but unquestioned authority did not. People learned something dangerous. Power does not equal protection. Religion changed tone. Faith did not disappear. It became personal. Some grew devout. Others grew cynical. Religion shifted from certainty to questioning. Blind obedience weakened. Interpretation multiplied. Fear reshaped values. After the plague, people thought differently. Life felt shorter. Pleasure felt urgent. Tradition felt negotiable. Art became darker and more human. Literature focused on mortality. Death became part of culture. Cities reimagined. Urban planning changed. Space mattered. Cleanliness mattered, without understanding why. Hospitals evolved. Quarantine became policy. The plague taught hygiene without science. A new kind of confidence. Survivors had faced the worst and lived. This bred a quiet confidence. If death could be endured, so could change. The mental groundwork for the Renaissance was laid here. Why this was the plague's real legacy. The plague did not invent new ideas. It removed constraints. By killing millions, it exposed inefficiencies. By terrifying survivors, it broke obedience. By reshaping labor, it redistributed leverage. Civilization moved not forward, but differently. Professor's reflection: catastrophe is a catalyst. The plague reminds us that disaster does not just destroy. It rearranges. It strips systems to their bones and reveals what truly holds them together. Sometimes, collapse clears the path for transformation. Part 5. The Psychological Aftermath. The plague did not leave when the sickness faded. It stayed. Inside memory. Inside behavior. Inside culture. A generation raised by death. Children who survived the plague grew up surrounded by absence.
Parents gone.
Neighbors gone. Entire families erased. They learned early that life was fragile and unfair. Optimism did not define them. Pragmatism did. Why death entered art and imagination. After the plague, death became visible everywhere. Paintings showed skeletons dancing with the living. Stories obsessed over decay. Poetry spoke openly of endings. This was not morbid curiosity. It was processing trauma. Art became a way to talk about what could not be avoided. The birth of the Dance of Death. One image dominated Europe. Death as an equalizer. Kings and peasants dancing together.
No rank. No privilege.
The plague had erased hierarchy in the grave. And culture remembered that lesson. Love, pleasure, and urgency. Survivors lived differently. They married faster. They spent freely. They laughed louder or not at all. When tomorrow is uncertain, restraint feels foolish. Pleasure became rebellion against death. Faith after betrayal. For many, faith changed shape. God was no longer predictable. Prayer was no longer transactional. Some became intensely devout. Others turned away completely. Belief fractured into personal interpretations. Religion lost its monopoly on meaning. Why fear never fully left. Even after the plague ended, the memory remained. Every cough triggered panic. Every fever raised suspicion. Communities remembered how fast safety vanished. Preparedness became instinct. Silence passed down generations. Trauma was not discussed. It was inherited. Parents who had survived loss raised cautious children. Risk-taking declined in some places. Paranoia increased in others. History moved forward, but fear walked with it. Why humanity became obsessed with time. Clocks mattered more. Schedules mattered more. Records mattered more. Life was counted. The plague made time precious and terrifying. Wasting life felt dangerous. The emotional cost of survival. Survival is not victory. It is endurance. Many survivors carried guilt. Why them? Why not others? This guilt shaped ethics, charity, and worldview. The plague made humanity more self-aware and more anxious. Professor's reflection: trauma outlives catastrophe. The plague teaches us that disasters do not end when bodies heal. They end when memory softens. And sometimes, memory never does. Civilization carries its scars forward. Part 6. Why the plague still matters. The plague is not a medieval story. It is a human story, and it never truly ended. Why the past still breathes. Centuries later, the memory of the plague still shapes how humanity reacts to disease. Isolation,
Fear. Blame.
panic buying, mistrust of authority. We have seen this before. The technology changed. The psychology did not. Fear always moves faster than science. During the plague, science did not exist. Today, it does. Yet fear still outruns explanation. People panic before facts arrive. Rumors spread faster than truth. Certainty is demanded where uncertainty is unavoidable. The plague teaches us that fear is not ignorance. It is instinct. Why scapegoats always appear. When death feels random, humans look for control. Blame creates the illusion of safety. Outsiders are accused. Minorities are targeted. The other becomes dangerous. This pattern repeats, not because people are cruel, but because fear demands direction. The illusion of control. Modern humanity believes it is prepared. Medicine, technology, global coordination. But the plague reminds us, control is always partial. Preparedness reduces damage. It never removes uncertainty. What humanity actually learned. The plague did not teach medicine. It taught humility. It showed that systems can fail, authority can be wrong, survival can be random. This realization reshaped ethics, power, and progress. What humanity quickly forgot. Humanity forgot patience. It forgot how long recovery takes. It forgot that trauma lingers after danger fades. History shows that forgetting lessons is easier than learning them. Why the plague is a warning, not a memory. The plague warns us against arrogance, against assuming safety is permanent, against believing civilization is fragile only in theory. Civilization survives not by strength, but by adaptability. The final truth about death and progress. Progress does not prevent catastrophe. It determines how we respond to it. The plague tested humanity's body. It revealed humanity's mind. Final reflection: survival is not the end of the story. The plague did not end humanity, but it changed it. Every society that comes after carries its echo. In policy, in fear, in preparedness, in memory. History does not repeat exactly, but it rhymes loudly. Closing words from the perfect professor. The plague reminds us of something uncomfortable. Civilization is not defeated by enemies alone. It is tested by invisible forces. And when tested, humanity reveals who it truly is. Not at its strongest, but at its most afraid. Lessons from the past. Stories for the present. Before we end, I have a question for you. What do you think was the most shocking fact about how people treated the plague in the past? Comment below. We've come to the end of our discussion on the plague. Thank you so much for watching. Like, share, and subscribe for more history videos. See you again in the next one. Take care.